Hoka hey, Alita Army. Welcome to the Alita Livestream of October the 1st, 2021. Is Alita human in her Imaginos bodies? Where we discuss all things to do with the movie Alita Battle Angel, the source manga Gundam, and the greatly desired sequels. And I am your host, the Muskogee Creek from Denver, Colorado in the United States. And my co-host is Angelus. He's from Brisbane in Queensland, Australia. How's it going, Angelus?
Pretty good today.
Cool. How's that new job working out, man?
Well, let's just say I'll be able to buy a lot more Alita merch in the very near future.
Yeah, it's well, it's good to have you back, man. You were sorely missed on both streams, actually. So it's good to have you back.
It's good to be back.
Cool. So what's happening there, and what's happened down there in Straya?
Well, it's working the graveyard shift, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. and pretty much doing the whole vampire thing, sleeping during the day and awake during the night.
Holy mackerel! That means that you you haven't been to bed yet, have you? Oh man!
So after this, I'll be going to bed, dreaming of an Alita sequel.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
Just cruising into the shit.
Yeah. How's things going with COVID over there? I mean, I saw something on the news here the other night that you guys, I know some places are in lockdown, and I think I saw some newscast where I think you have just a little bit larger population than the state of Florida, but Florida has a way holy shit, way worse, I guess, COVID situation than Australia does. Is that true, or how's that going there?
It flip-flops between states, which is kind of how I imagine the US would be at the moment.
Yeah.
Because you've got one state that's in lockdown and it's having its more than its fair share of protests.
Yeah, is that New South? Yes, New South Wales, isn't it?
That or Melbourne, one of the two.
Yeah, yeah.
And you got places like Tasmania, Western Australia, and even up in Queensland, where there are a lot of places where we're not in lockdown, but we still, play it safe, wear masks and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I haven't got vaccinated yet, but I mean, even then, I'm a bit of a special case because I've got a medical condition. So.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, not nice. Not nice that you have a medical condition, but nice that you can get vaccinated. So, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I think I'm due for my booster, I guess, maybe this month, perhaps, if they get it ready and FDA approve our drug administration, Food and Drug Administration, anyway. So, okay. Well, anyway, enough about that. Go ahead.
An issue that Alita doesn't have that before.
Yeah.
With the near total replacement size of body.
Yes. Well, they don't get COVID. So.
Well, I'm sure the nanobots would take care of that.
Yeah. I guess unless Alita's brain, I guess you could get COVID in the brain, I guess. So, yeah. So anyway, we do have, it's good to have you back there, David. We got some other guests coming on, and I sent out another tweet reminding them it was 2 hours earlier today because we didn't want Angelus falling asleep at the switch here, because he hasn't been to bed yet. So anyway, that's they'll be on eventually, I guess. Okay, so I guess the main question here today is going to be: is Alita human in her Imaginos bodies? Now, I think we've done lots of streams before of her in various bodies and that kind of thing. And, we're not going to talk about her fighting anybody or anything like that. I mean, I am so sure that the topic's going to come up from somebody eventually when they do log on. But especially if Den logs on, he's going to want to talk about her fighting maybe Android 18 or something. But, we just want to talk about her as a person, we want to talk about her and her human qualities, not any superhero stuff or anything like that. So we know her movie bodies. Certainly, most of us, not most of us, who am I kidding? All of us have seen the movie multiple times. So, I mean, we are very familiar, with Alita's movie bodies. And, we're very aware of her bodies that she has in the Mars Chronicle and in the original manga, about how, she's basically got a human brain. I guess her skin and her hair are also organic, although her skin and hair may be synthetic. That doesn't mean it's not organic. I mean, at their state of technology, at least in some areas, is going to be much more advanced than ours, particularly in when we talk about cybernetics, like you see here. But yeah, she probably does have a human skin. And not some kind of plastic or polyalloy or something like that. It's going to be human skin, possibly grown, kind of like what we saw in Terminator when they said they grow skin for the cyborgs. And certainly, if you accept the premise that Alita is basically on the timeline after at least movie Alita, after Terminator, then you could say, well, okay, this is plausible that she has human skin. And her hair is also probably human. There's I guess, a passage in the novelization where she kind of admires Koyomi's hair and wonders if her hair will grow out long enough, for her to be able to, kind of braid it like Koyomi has. So that tells me that her hair is organic and it does grow. Now, we didn't see that too much in the movie because in the movie, particularly the bigger part of the movie, is going to take place over just a few days. I guess that time when she's in when she's doing the motorball tryouts, you could make a case that she was probably 6 weeks to 2 months between the time she was sitting on the back of Hugo's unicycle or whatever that motorcycle, one wheel motorcycle, and when she finally gets to the tryouts. But at very best, I think we've talked a couple times that that's probably around 6 weeks, possibly 2 months. So she doesn't have enough time, particularly in the movie, for her hair to grow that long. And of course, we have no idea if she's cutting her hair or something, or if Ito's cutting it for her. Who knows? And certainly at the end of the movie, after Hugo's death, where she's raising her Damascus blade towards Zalem rather, that could be anywhere from 2 to 3 months, there. And certainly that's, I guess over that whole framework, 4 months, maybe her hair could grow appreciably, but of course we don't know if her hair is being cut, so we don't know that. But hopefully, and I think this is my hope, is that is human hair also, and she does have a human brain, so that to me is, I don't care if she's 90% machine, in these 3 bodies, she is most definitely human. Do you agree, Angelus? I think you might be muted there, Angelus.
Oh, whoops.
No problem.
I was just thinking what stage, do we become less human? And I'm thinking, when it comes down to it, we're all just electrical synapses,
yes,
sending signals throughout our bodies. Now, how those signals travel, whether it be through oxygenated blood, nervous system, or nanobots. Even the nanobots have to follow a program or follow direction. And, for the most part, they could be following the direction of the owner of the body. So, one thing leads to another. The command comes from the brain, but then what happens to the brain? Eventually that'll die. Replace it with biochips. All right, well, if that's the case, then what about the skin?
Yeah.
like eventually the skin will go up. But I think that's where it sort of starts to change, because at least you can grow new skin, which means that it's got some regenerative qualities, and between
Yeah.
that and the nanobots,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I think her brain, yeah, granted it could deteriorate like a human brain, but I think in her case though, I think those nanobots would actually keep her brain help keep her brain healthy. You know, they would be doing repairs to the organic part of her in addition to her you know, machine body, you know, all those parts. So I think in that regard, yeah, even though she's got human brain, you know, I think that brain will survive a lot longer than human brains would normally because of those nanobots. Now, this is my opinion. You know, I don't recall seeing anything in the manga that would say that those nanobots were working on her brain. You know, but to me, it seems that if they are advanced enough to create synthetic human skin and you know advanced enough to create synthetic human hair, and then certainly being able to put a brain in a sort of a titanium nanotube composite alloy you know kind of skull, and that thing function, being able to hook up all the nerve endings and all that to where it would control the body. To me, if they got that kind of technology and it's all nanotech, you know, that's doing that, then I think that those one of the functions, or at least you may have some nanobots that can actually actively repair and regenerate those human parts of her, because she's certainly got them here in her movie bodies.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know.
I mean,
Yeah.
what makes it like? I mean, we're delving into the
Yeah.
like thing out here, but I mean, what makes her human? I guess. I mean, I don't know. I'm starting
Yeah.
to sort of. I'm not tiring just yet, but I don't know. It's beyond my pay grade and it's beyond my IQ, I guess.
Okay. Well, I think in my case, what I'm talking about here is you can't in these three bodies. The argument there's not a good argument to say that she's not human. You know what I'm saying? Because it does have organic human parts. And when we get to the other three bodies we're going to talk about, then we can start that discussion, you know. But take, for instance, Tilly Lockheed. Now, she's not a TR, you know, like this, you know, like Alita is. But she does have, you know, cyborg hands. You know, she does have bionic arms, and she can pick stuff up and all. That doesn't make her any less human. You know, she is human. You know, now granted, she's probably 5% human or something like that because it's just her hands, you know. Well, I don't mean just say just her hands. I mean, certainly that's a major part of, you know, but she is still human, you know, even though she is part machine. And I think the same is true here organically. Now, I agree with you. I think that what really makes Alita human is her psyche. I think it's her, you know, her consciousness, her self-awareness is very human. You know, so that comes along with her brain, you know, certainly. But in terms of the physical, you know, no one, I don't think, can argue that Alita is not human. You know, they can say she's 90% machine, and they would be right about that, you know. But that's as far as they could go, you know, because we have cyborgs walking around today. They're just not this advanced, you know. As a matter of fact, from a technology standpoint, they're pathetically less advanced than this kind of cyborg would be. But still, nevertheless, they are humans also.
I think I've made the decision that throw it in reverse, flip it completely on its head. If we did the same to AI and try to teach it how to be human, like we could get pretty damn close. I mean, we sort of already are, but
yeah.
I mean, you'd be able to get damn close, but it still has to follow, some sort of program, much like nanobots.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go into Alita's case, you could, in theory, replace every single living cell with a mechanical function, and as long as you preserve that awareness and decision making and whatnot, then it's not like she's still human, or at least how we would call human.
Yeah. Well, she certainly would have human emotions, and we saw that in the movie, right? She's definitely got human emotions. She definitely cares, for, well, I guess friends and adopted family members, I guess you could say, because Ito's really not her, blood relative, but, she obviously cared about him. Now some would say, well, yeah, she cared about him, after he gave her the berserker body. Well, I think it went deeper than that. I think that was just kind of a teenager kind of rebelling against the father, and the father trying to take a stand and stuff like that, or a father figure, that is. But I think she cares, for Ito. I think she cares for Gerhard and so forth, So, I think that right there makes her human too. Certainly cared about Hugo, that, in the movie, that made her human because, I guess one of the arguments about this though would be that folks could say, well, animals care about their owners like pets, and that's true, I guess, but I don't think it's to the depth that a human, and I have nothing to go on here. I'm not a psychologist or anything like that. I don't know how that works, but I think that to me, there's a level of complexity with how humans, feel, about other people as opposed to pets. I think pets, in my opinion, will bond to just about anybody. Now, like my dog is an example. He and I are bonded, and that's a pretty solid bond, but if something happened, say like to me as an example, and my brother had to take my dog, I think he would bond to my brother, and it wouldn't, I don't know if there would be any kind of grieving or anything like that from him. He would just know that I got a new food provider, perhaps, I could be wrong about that, because I just don't know, psychology that well, but with humans, I think it's more complex than that, because it's not just feeling that humans will establish relationships on. It's also some kind of cognitive or cognizant process that goes on too. In other words, they may not only view somebody that they love as an example, and they have those feelings, but they also know that they're in a partnership with somebody. Let's say if you're married to somebody, you're in a partnership, and that's a little bit different, I think, than the relationship between a dog and a cat, or say crayons, rabbits, and her. That's more of a pet owner relationship as opposed to a partnership where, two people are, trying to achieve things and do this kind of stuff.
I was just thinking there's also the bond out of necessity, because we know why she rebelled, but I mean, at the same time, she still didn't completely run away from Ito, at least in the movie anyway.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Yes. Well, I don't think you have to worry about that on this stream.
Yeah, because she still, I guess, needed, Doc Ito's free repair sort of thing.
Yeah.
For the doll body, for the berserker body, at least for the, the transfer from doll to berserker. And
yeah. And you got to assume that he transferred her from berserker to motorball body too. You got to assume that.
Well, yeah. I mean, we didn't really see
We didn't see it, yeah, but
a coach at the end of the movie. If
yeah,
they
exactly.
were going to go that deep into the in staying true to the manga.
Yeah. Yeah, I
But
kind of. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, I was just gonna sort of reiterate the fact that there's still the fact that she could, in maybe even in a way, she'd rely on Nova as well. But in
Yeah.
the way that I guess Batman and Joker would sort of need each other.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think in the manga, when Alita and Hugo, I mean, not Hugo, I mean, Alita and Ito, they kind of get estranged from each other, where, Ito is now kind of the tuner, I guess, for Joshua, and she's got a new tuner, herself. She's got a different tuner. S-Doc, I think's his name, or Ed. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that, there's probably still feelings there, though. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not sure if you took a pet like that. I don't think they might. So, don't get all upset about this. But, I just don't think that, because humans kind of our intelligence is I'm not going to say more elevated. That's a little bit of a, kind of an anthropomorphism, type of, just I guess you would say almost like species narcissism, I guess. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, we are still superior, but only just if for no other reason than by design, because
Yeah,
we can do a lot more functions than a
yeah.
dog.
Well, dogs, cats, any pet, we don't have any evidence certainly that they've been able to build structures and cities and that kind of thing. They just live with us. Whereas we build stuff. I don't mean that means it makes us superior as inherently as a species, but it does mean we're more complex and we have different feelings.
But at the same time, I mean, you have other animals in the kingdom that can create their own home, or their home is their environment.
Yeah.
You got animals that can make burrows as well.
Yeah. That's right. Not sure. Yeah, ants can build their own stuff, but I'm not sure they're capable of space travel. I guess, but that's a whole different story, I guess. But I guess there's no refuting that Alita is human. I think there's no doubt about it. Now, yeah, she's a cyborg for sure, and she does have extraordinary abilities in each of those bodies, actually. I think we talked last week about her doll body. How her, or I guess it was when we put her up against Thanos about, kind of the misconception that doll body's not very powerful. Well, that doll body is still stronger than humans. So, but that's not the issue here. I mean, she herself as an individual, as a person, has self-awareness, and she has human self-awareness, which is really going to come into play, I guess, when we get to the Imaginos bodies.
Yeah, because again, going back to my theory before, I'm thinking, let's take I don't know, a bee, for example. If we made a mechanical bee that flies around and makes honey, and we have 100 of them, and white.
Yeah.
And that's all it does. That's all its purpose, and it's not really a bee. It's just a creation. But
yeah,
let's in theory say that if a bee lost its, if we made the bee a cyborg, it's still itself, I guess. Like we were discussing earlier, it's still aware of what it has to do and what it can do, I guess.
Yeah, but I'm not sure though I don't know I don't know about the self-awareness of bees, but I do know dogs and cats do have some level of self-awareness. You know, I mean, I see that every day in my dog. I mean, I communicate with my dog a lot, and he understands probably 200 words. That'd be my guess. I never really sat down and just counted how many words he knew. At one point, well, that's not true. I guess when he was a puppy, I counted up to 60 words, but I stopped because I kept thinking more and more. I said, well, he knows a lot more, but he's aware that if he's hungry, as an example, or if he needs to go out and he's in the house and he can't get out because the door's not open, he knows to come get me, to go out. Or if I ask him, if you want a cookie or something, he'll bark. So he knows that, I'm not sure a bee knows that, knows to do that, so I think animals do have self-awareness. And even dolphins, I think, dolphins are very intelligent in their environment. They're very survivable, and they can communicate, maybe not at the level that we do, but they do communicate, so and they they know what they want to get, and that kind of stuff. And there's even cases where I've read where that they'll have a kind of a temporary relationship with humans. A human may be swimming somewhere and the dolphin swims up to them and plays with them or something like that, so but anyway, that's a whole nother issue.
Yes, Dave Watkins, just starting the stream early this week due to work requirements. But otherwise, we usually would start a couple of hours later.
Yeah.
It just means that other hunter warriors in the Alita army can get to enjoy the training.
Oh yeah. Well, there'll be folks to watch this too after the stream's over. I invited Dan and Darlon and a bunch of others, or I would say do not stand by. By the way, guys, if anybody wants to come on to talk about Alita with us, there's the link. All you got to do is click on it and come on. I don't care if you're English. You think your English is bad. My English is horrible at times. So, come on. Yeah. Yeah. Diz is not in there, I don't think, is he?
No, the YouTube link.
No, that's not the YouTube link. Oh, yeah, it is the YouTube link. Oh, God. Sorry about that, folks. Let me get the other link here. And the Creek, I guess, sometimes there's the StreamYard link right there. So, yeah, the YouTube link is not going to do you any good. Not first coming on to the stream anyway. So, yeah, just click on that link and, and then you can join in the conversation.
Even if you want to talk about a completely different subject, as long as it's Alita related.
Yeah, we don't care. Yeah, we don't care at all.
We just have this as like a, even as an appetizer.
Yeah.
See if talking about Alita opens up other avenues of discussion.
Yeah, we got I guess Wagabond Wallaby out there. We got David Watson out there. I think Chaos is out there too. I think. And there's others out there. I can't tell who all. I just know that X number of people are watching, so I can't tell who they are, obviously. So anyway, click on that link. There's not many people watching us. It's too early in the morning for you guys in the USA. I'm not sure about that, David. Because here where I am, it's 3:30 in the afternoon. So for me, it's not an issue. Now for Angelus, it's like 6:30 in the morning. There, 7:30, isn't it? Something like that.
Oh yeah. I guess maybe some are still at work.
Yeah. So anyway, just click on that link and jump on. We won't bite. We promise. And even if you think your English is not good, that's okay. If you can say I love Alita, then you're good. We're good with that. So
yeah, I was going to say the only requirement is that you love Alita, but I'll make that two requirements. One, is that one. And the other one is you have a working mic, because I know that
Yep.
sometimes mine doesn't. And, well, yeah, I
Yeah.
go sad face after that.
Well, your mic's working pretty good now.
So far, so good, touch wood.
Yes. Okay, so anyway, I think we hit that guy hard enough right there. Alita's movie bodies, there's no doubt that she is human here. I mean, and when I say that, I don't mean to say the other bodies are in question. I'm just saying that you cannot make a solid argument that she's not human, because she does have a human brain. So organically, she is a human, and she does have human skin and hair, so she is a human. Now, where we can get into a debate is on these three bodies right here. And the reason why we can debate this, and I'm hoping everybody's read the manga, and I would bet everyone on this stream has read the manga, because I don't think Vladi's out there. I think Vladi sent out a tweet that he's got to get up early, so he can't be on. So, but anyway, in these bodies, Alita may have human hair and human skin. It's grown kind of like before, but she does have a brain chip here. Her consciousness has been uploaded to a processor, like you would think in your computer, So she's, from an organic standpoint, we could argue this. Now, the fact I think she's still got human hair and human skin, you can still make a case that she's organically human, but I don't think that's what makes us human. I don't know. What do you?
Terminator human?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I said, is it Terminator human? Because he's got human hair and skin.
Yeah, well, he's not, is he? I mean, he's, Alita here would be more like a Terminator, I think, in terms of, how she's constructed.
Although, I know a lot of people don't, like, it wasn't as successful as the other movies, but is it not Genesis? I think it's Terminator Salvation.
Yeah.
With Sam Worthington. He was practically, I guess, a reverse Alita, where he had a completely cybernetic body and a human heart.
Yeah.
I think a head as well. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, just wanted to mention that Kowalczyk Carl, or Charlie, says it's 11:30 there in Austria. Yeah, Charlie, I was in Austria some time ago. I was on Lake Constance, the Bodensee. So you probably know where that is, where Bregenz, I guess I was there too. So anyway, very beautiful country there in Austria. Wow, I have really loved it. So anyway, just thought I'd throw that out there. So Carl probably
knows where
Charlie.
Ito has his heritage from.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Austria.
Yep, that's right. So anyway, Charlie, I know I kind of, well, I'm familiar with I don't know your country, obviously, but I'm familiar with it. So it's really, where I was, it was very beautiful. So anyway, kind of neat. Yeah, I think David Watson brings up a good point here, that Alita thinks she's human. As a matter of fact, in the manga, there's one point where she gets up to Zalem, and there was some, I don't know if they were kids or what they were up there that said, oh, look, it's a robot or something like that. So referred to her as something like a robot. And she very distinctly said, I am not a robot, So she really believed she was human, I mean, organically complete, or at least her brain. I don't think she knew that she had a brain chip when she said that. It wasn't until later in the Last Order, I think she became aware that she had a brain chip, and I can't remember exactly where that was. I don't know, Angelus, do you remember where that was? I can't remember that.
No, it's not. I haven't read it enough times yet.
Yeah, I haven't read it in quite a while. But I think the thing about this is that, Alita's personality, is very much in that brain chip. She's not aware she's got a brain chip, especially in that Imaginos 1.0. She doesn't know she's got a brain chip there. The 2.0 and 2.1, I think she does know in those two bodies, but in the Imaginos 1.0 body, she doesn't know she has a brain chip instead of a brain. You know, I do know at the end of Last Order, when she's in the Imaginos 2.1 body, that she is aware at that point that, that her, I guess it's her essence or whatever, that she can be I guess you would say, not regenerated, but printed, from that organic printer they had at the spoiler alert, at the end of Last Order, where a completely organic Alita came out of there. And then, of course, she was, I guess Ito called this Alita in the Imaginos 2.1 body, called her the other Alita, is what he called her. You remember in Figure 4, actually, I guess kind of, certainly loved Alita, but, he kind of, I guess, bonded or whatever you want to call it, formed that, reconnected or whatever with the completely human Alita that's been, printed. So at that point, I guess that Alita that was printed has all of the memories that the Imaginos 2.1 Alita has, because I guess she was able to, probably, it's not real clear in the manga about this, but all of her thought processes, her consciousness or herself, or a good bit of her self-awareness was put in that completely organic Alita, flesh and blood Alita, which kind of brings up another issue, doesn't it? They're kind of like twins now, although they're not identical twins, obviously, because one's a machine and the other one's a human, but, they're both humans, but, one's a machine-based human and the other's a human. So,
in a sense, you could say they're twins because, when twins are, I guess, conceived.
Yeah.
I think it's like the sperm literally duplicates itself.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, like it duplicates itself within the egg or something, and then basically two humans grow instead of one.
Yeah.
And in a way, that's the case here. Only the separation is a lot more later in life.
Yes. Yes.
And I mean, they're still technically the same person biologically.
Yeah.
But now that they're going to grow and develop and
in different ways,
have their own experiences and make different decisions based on those experiences.
Yeah, from that point on, when when the human Alita is printed, I guess another way to look at this too, whether or not the Imaginos Alita is human or not, is that bio printer there at the end of the Last Order, it had to have human DNA, didn't it, to be able to do that? So, and probably I don't remember, but I would think that Alita maybe it could have been some strands of her hair, could have been some of her skin, on her face, or something like that. But all human DNA has all of the sequences in it from any cell in your body, and each cell, knows what to do if it's put in a different, kind of a light. So when that was printed, in other words, she was cloned essentially is what she was done, what happened there. All the organs developed just like it would in a human, certainly her eyes and all that stuff, from the top of her head to the tips of her toes, she was human, in that bio printer, so I guess you could make that could be a solid argument that this Alita is human, because she did have human DNA. And so, you were able to clone a human from it. So, yeah, she's a human. What do you think, Angelus?
That is probably a great counter argument to what I was saying earlier, because if you completely replace everything with every flesh and blood like cell with a cybernetic replacement,
Yeah.
and you still have something controlling those electrical impulses,
Yep.
then they're still a human. But at the same time, there's no DNA. Then what are they really?
Yeah.
So, like I said, it really. I'm going to go as far as say that I'm like delightfully been disproven, I guess, at least
Yeah.
to some extent, if not completely.
Yeah. Alita is kind of an enigma, isn't she? Because in a very real way, she's definitely human. I think even here, not just because she has a human consciousness and, identifies herself as human and thinks she's human and has human emotions and human consciousness and all that stuff loaded into her brain chip even. But she definitely has that human DNA. But in a very real way, she's also an alien, isn't she? I mean, she was born on Mars. So, I mean, that's by definition an alien, So it's kind of interesting how we perceive her,
Yeah. In 200 years from now, when when Elon's great grandson like develops technology to go to and from like interplanetary,
Yeah.
and we've got colonies on Mars, like a la Total Recall. If someone was born, if two humans that were born on Earth both moved to Mars and they had a child together, man, let's not get into that. But anyway, if you're human but you're born on Mars, are you still human?
Yeah. Now, as we've talked about in previous streams, which this one I am definitely not going to spoil the manga on. But at the end of Martian Chronicles Volume 6, there's a little bit of a creep factor there that Maxie's talked about several times, about, Alita, about her origin and stuff like that. And I'm not going to spoil this one. How's it going, Chaos?
It's in the video game, too.
Oh, Lord. I'm not going to spoil it, though, because you got to read it. If I say anything more than what I've just said, it's going to be, it's going to spoil the shock value of it, I think. So how's it going, Chaos?
Pretty well. You guys started before I even got home.
Oh, yeah. Well, we started a little earlier today because Angelus just got off of work, and it wouldn't have been fair to him to, come home, go to sleep for 2 hours, and then have to get back up to do the stream. He wanted to do the stream, so it's cool. We went ahead and started 2 hours early today, so
that's good.
Yeah. How's everything going in Ohio there, Chaos?
Oh, it's all right. I guess it's officially autumn now.
Yes. Yes, it is that here in Colorado, too. And I guess there in Australia, it's probably spring, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, opposite hemisphere.
Yeah, that's right. So it's the weather is probably very similar in both places then.
Yeah, it was kite weather today, blowing off the lake.
Oh, yeah. Now, you're off Lake Erie, right?
Yeah, that's the closest shore you're going to get to Mentor. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, cool. So anyway, we were just talking about, Alita, and I think Chaos you were on for a while, I guess. But, in this body right here, these bodies we were talking about, there's no question that Alita's human here because, you got a human brain, I mean, she might be 90% machine, but her brain is human. And plus her skin is human too, even though it might be synthetic, like we've talked about in previous streams. And her hair is probably synthetic. We didn't really establish for sure, but I think Maxie in prior streams said he thinks these are synthetic. Her hair and her skin are synthetic, but they are biological. In other words, it's been grown, in a way that we wouldn't understand right now at our level of technology. But kind of like
it's like the Terminator, I guess, because the Terminator, but he regrows the outer skin unless it's too much damage.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we use that exact argument here, but there is no question here that Alita, despite being 90% machine, she is human. Now, where it comes into question is these bodies right here, because, in all three of these bodies, she's got a brain chip, Now, does that not make her human or not? And that's what we've just been talking about. And we talked a little bit about, her consciousness, her emotions, how she feels, what she thinks of herself, how she, even to some level, how she interacts with others, is very human, even though she's a machine here. But we also talked about here about how she, at the end of the last order, how, she printed a duplicate of herself or a clone of herself in that bio printer that was at the end of last order. And to do that, there had to be some human DNA here somewhere, whether it's in a strand of her hair, or in her skin or something like that. So she's got some human qualities even here. Now, the question is, now she's got a brain chip, is she human? I think she is. I think she's still human, because she's got all those emotions that have been uploaded to the brain chip. She has all the, all of the consciousness. She's self-aware. She has the memories of her previous existence and that sort of thing, So I think she's very human, even here, even though she's a machine mostly, her brain's a machine or a computer.
Right. Best example of not human would be Dr. Manhattan from The Watchmen, because he gets more and more arrogant and just doesn't care. And I feel that, funny is that in the original series, Alita is Imaginos, but that was not for a very, relatively speaking, long time. And even now on Mars Chronicle, the new body isn't as powerful as what either of the Imaginos ones were.
Yeah, exactly. But I think through all of it, and notwithstanding Alita's origins, which once again, I'm not going to say, I want everybody to read this in a manga, even though it is what that is, it is still, in my opinion, that it's still human, and I'm going to leave it at that because I don't want to give it away. And I almost give it away sometimes. So anyway, I do think she's human here. Now this is where the discussion where we can start debating this. I mean, do you really have to have a human brain to be human? Angelus, what are you doing there? Yeah, Angelus, what are you doing? Are you moving to another residence?
Sorry, I was just adjusting myself in my seat, and it's a leather seat, so.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my bad.
No, that's okay, man. I just thought you were moving or something, moving furniture or whatever. Yeah, do you really have to have a human brain to be human? I guess that's one question. I don't know, Chaos. What do you think?
I feel that, if you are humbled occasionally, then yes, you are.
Yeah.
But when you have nothing to humble you, then that's when you tend to get arrogant and you tend to not care and become complacent about it.
Yeah, The Watchmen, that's one of my favorite movies. The series was good until the very last episode. I kind of didn't care for that.
I don't know. I just think that some people screamed about the wrong things. I mean, there were some things I found problematic with the continuity, but otherwise, I think by itself, it's an interesting story.
I think so too. I agree with you. But, not to divert too far away from Alita, but, with Dr. Manhattan being able to walk on the surface of the sun and being able to be captured by a human-built machine, I don't care if it had tachyons in it or not. The sun emits tachyons, and he was able to walk on the surface of the sun. So I didn't like that. I thought that was a big plot hole myself. I mean, they could have got him a different way, for sure. But
they could, yeah,
they could have, But I had a problem with that. But anyway, that's another story. So I think we established. I think Angelus and I have established too that. Human brain, that definitely means you're human, but doesn't mean if you don't have one, you're not. In this case, I think Alita, even though she, in those three bodies, doesn't have a human brain, I think she is very human because of her. It's kind of like you were saying, Chaos. She's, she's got very human-like in how she thinks of herself. You know, it's I don't know if I would, you know, when she's fighting different opponents, she's I wouldn't call it arrogance. I'd call it self-confidence, maybe, you know, and I could be wrong about that. But I do think that, you know, I do think that that her essence, even though it's not a human brain, all of her essence is in that bio chip or in that brain chip. And that to me makes her human, even in these three bodies.
By that same logic, Lou is dead.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Well, isn't Lou just a program now? If I remember, I don't remember.
Well, she is a person, but it's not the brain chip. So it's nothing about the Lou that Alita knew in the Badlands.
And that Lou didn't remember anything about her previous existence, did she? I can't remember.
No, nothing that was nothing that biochip. She didn't remember any of that.
Yeah, because she didn't remember who Alita was, did she?
No, she didn't.
So, yeah. So anyway, that because I remember Alita spent a good bit of the last order trying to save Lou, you know, and of course it was kind of a you know, fruitless, you know, I guess kind of endeavor in that case. So, well, what do you think? Does Alita have a soul, or has she just got a program running up there?
I think she does. You know, this is a weird thing I've talked to before, but there was always Superman Red and Blue back in 1963, and they were two separate guys, but they were also individual guys.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that?
Yes. Oh, yeah, I heard of it. I'm old enough to have heard of it. Absolutely.
Man,
so.
And Blue.
Yeah. Yep.
But
yep.
Now it's Red and Blue Alita, basically, right? Mars Alita, Red, Earth Alita, Blue.
That's right. Or the Alita that was printed, I guess. I guess you could call that Earth Alita.
Well, pretty much, but
yeah,
they're both people going their own ways.
Yeah. Yeah, at the point that the human Alita was printed, and then the other Alita, this Alita, the Imaginos Alita, goes off to Venus or wherever. I don't remember.
Yeah, well, the big difference in the Superman story is that it was an accident. He thought he would enhance him, but it made him two separate people.
Yeah, that's right, because he split apart. Yeah, I remember that. You know, he was split.
There was one that's red and one that's blue.
Yes. Yep, that's right.
Yeah,
I read that comic book. I sure did. Yep, that was pretty cool. You know, in this case, though, I think that Imaginos Alita here, she actually cloned herself. She actually put some of her DNA in that printer and created this other Alita. Well, Ito calls this Alita the other Alita, and then of course the human Alita is the one that, you know, Figure 4 takes up with and all that kind of good stuff. So
right.
Yeah. And then of course I remember, you know, it was I remember reading at the end of Last Order when Ito's looking up, you know, he sees that Figure 4 and you know, human Alita are just, you know, seem to be starting to get along okay and really well and stuff like that. And he kind of looks up and he says, but what about the other Alita? You know, and then there's that last panel where she's going woohoo like that. She's taking off, you know, she's going to Venus, I guess, you know.
Right.
Yeah. Well, this Alita definitely has human emotions, doesn't she?
Definitely feels pain too.
I'm sorry?
Definitely feels pain too.
Yeah, exactly.
Erica, such as when Erica smacked her up in the air.
Yep. Well, she damn near gets killed by Karula too, doesn't she? Until Karula realizes that, you know, she's the one that's going to get the Fata Morgana, I guess. You know, and it's going to change everything, I guess is the way that works, from what I remember. So, well, you know, yeah, and I guess the previous Alitas, you know, the Alita that was in the Berserker body, say, and that she definitely had human emotions. I mean, you know, she cared about Hugo a lot, you know, and she, you know, basically is she's got a human brain. So, I mean, all that's going to still be indelled in that brain for sure, But I think, now I can't remember which body Alita was in when her and Figure 4, remember Figure 4 carried her across the desert, and then they ended up with all
That's
the
tuned.
water and all that fish. That was the tuned Alita. That's right. Yeah. Now, I don't remember Chaos. Does she have a brain chip in that body too? Oh, we lost Chaos.
I don't think she had a brain chip back then.
Yeah, when did she get that? I don't exactly remember.
I think it might have been as early as when she went up to Theris.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't have a brain chip with tuned.
She does or doesn't?
Does not.
Okay, so she still has a human brain there with the tuned body. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there's some interesting stories in with her in the tuned body. I really like that body too, So I guess I could have added that to the Imagino. I mean, to the doll body, the Berserker, and the Motorball body, because she has a human brain in those bodies too. And the tuned body she would have, and she also had a civilian body, which I guess that was in the original series though. But she had human brain in that body too. So. So definitely had human emotions there, but she definitely had emotions or feelings from Figure 4. That's for sure. And to the point to where you remember when he was going to carry her across the desert, and she said, "No, just leave me here. I don't want you to risk your life for me and all that." He says, "Well, nobody's going to tell me to leave the woman I love in the desert to die or whatever, something like that, And she appreciated that, I guess, and then of course after that, I guess the rain came down, the fish were falling and all that stuff, and they were laughing, and that kind of stuff. So that was pretty cool. So that begs the next question, I guess. Do you have to have flesh and blood to be human?
No.
Not if you consider Alita, in the Imaginos body or in the tuned body. No, the tuned body, she had a human
I don't
brain.
want to spoil too much, but there's also the God form, and he's still human, even though he makes copies of himself and other weird stuff.
Oh,
Volume 9.
Yes. Yes.
Sounds like Dr. Manhattan,
except
he cares.
Yes. Well, he's still human. Yeah, that's right. So, but she does have some flesh and blood even here. I mean, even in the Imaginos body, her skin, I mean, that's flesh. That's human. I mean, it may be synthetic, but it's still human, So I guess you could say that, since she had, some, I mean, if you tried to make the argument that she had to be flesh and blood to be human, and you said, well, she has, human skin and hair, and her, all of her thought processes, all of her consciousness and all that is even in this brain chip, which is housed in a body or in a skull that has this human skin. I mean, I think, you could have a very interesting conversation with somebody about their argument. But I think, even there, I think the fact that she thinks the way she does, it's kind of like you were saying, Chaos, she's not arrogant. I mean, all humans get arrogant from one point to another, but I think what you're meaning over the long term, she's not arrogant, So, I think she
has humbling moments.
Yes. Yeah. And as long as you have that where you can self-reflect and all that kind of stuff, I think that makes you human, But I would say even here, she's probably 5% flesh and blood, even in the Imaginos body, or it could be 3% or something, because she does have some human or organic component to her, Now she's probably 95+% machine, including her brain, her brain chip, but she definitely has human DNA, doesn't she?
I was just thinking, I remember watching, what would you call it? the special features, and believe it or not, it was the special features on a VCR.
Lord,
like they always had that at the beginning of the.
you're talking my language now, Angelus.
And it was the when they sort of went back and like refurbished, if you want to call it that, the Star Wars movies 4, 5, and 6.
Yes.
And one of the producers or whatever, or whoever it was, said that because the original takes were so far degraded, that if they didn't do this like now or within the next few years, then like the movie would be completely gone. And so they transferred that from like, I guess from old, like whatever the old technology was before
analog
VCR.
to digital,
And then from like from VHS, I should say, to CD to DVD to
well, I think
digital.
Now, I remember the original Star Wars came out, or I think it was shot and produced in 77, came out in 78, I think. It was done on 70 millimeter film, I think, which that stuff's going to degrade, but digital doesn't degrade. Well, I mean, I guess it could, but it would degrade over a very, very long time. I mean, as long as you had some kind of machine to read it, and you could read it and put it together in a way it was meant to be put together, then you won't lose it, so.
And it made me think that, in a way, that's the progress or process that Alita's gone through. She went from, well, we know in the manga what she is exactly, but even that blob, I'll call it that without spoiling it. Even that blob is, technically human. They just, attached a mechanical body to it. And then obviously, as she grew from that, they changed the bodies, upgraded it, and, like obviously her head grew.
Yes.
And yeah, it just made me think, like, fast forward to her Imaginos bodies, going from, well, let's just say doll to berserker and so on until you reach the Imaginos bodies.
Yeah.
And she's still a leader. She's still human.
Yeah.
Like, as long as, I guess, the original core is preserved from a human consciousness, if you want to call it that, I guess.
Yeah.
Then I guess it doesn't matter where you end up.
Yeah. David Watson has an interesting observation there, and this is, I know where he's coming from. This is right out of that movie Ghost in the Shell, or the manga, or anime. Her ghost is what makes her human. And that's kind of what we talked about, the technology that they have in the 26th century, that they can literally upload your ghost into a brain chip. That's pretty cool. That means the creek is going to be around for a very long time. That's what that means. But seriously though, the level of technology that they had, even when Alita was in the armed military, was pretty high, and of course we've talked about on other streams how the technology that produced her cannot be replicated in the 26th century because it was so advanced for its time, and it was and all that stuff. And it's kind of like Ito was saying, this is technology. If you break it, I can't fix it, something like that. So, but they still had the technology that would enable them to upload your very consciousness, or your ghost, as it were, to a brain chip, to essentially what's a CPU that is hooked up to maybe some solid state, drives, that you can then, get all those human characteristics in. Is that how you see it?
Holy crap. I just thought of a way that they could really, I guess, sort of tell their own story and still sort of keep true to the manga in a very rough way. If they, sorry, not if, when they make the sequels.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, when they tried to invade Salem, maybe they did penetrate all the way, but they were somehow stopped and captured by Nova. They were experimented on, and then once he was done, he discarded them. Hence, that's why Alita got into the scrapyard.
Yeah.
And then when she goes up there to finish the dog, she realized that he's integrated the technology with Zalem to create something completely different. And then, he's able to, I guess, regenerate. Maybe not regenerate or have multiple bodies like he does in the manga as well.
Yeah.
And he's you kill one, you just transfer himself to another. So, and how do you stop that? Well, you stop it at its source, or its code in this case. And I'm just thinking she has to destroy the code or the programming to do it. But then that means that once she does, there's not going to be enough time to, I guess, back up the data, if you will. And that way, no one, eventually the technology to repair Alita will be lost and she will eventually die a normal human would. And I'm thinking, no, that can't happen.
Well, but still, she was connected to the singularity at the end. I mean, she had a very real connection to the cybernetic kingdom on Jupiter, and I think, I don't know, Angelus, they may be able to keep her alive, So I'm not sure she'd die just because she destroyed everything on Zalem, I think, or Catheris or Jeru or whatever. So I don't know about that.
Oh, no. Maybe, they could turn around and say, maybe, again, to tell their own story, but keep to the manga, maybe Nova was working as an agent for Catheris, and he backed up the data up there.
Yeah.
Maybe. But data can be stopped.
Yeah, what's your thoughts there, Chaos?
Well, data can be stopped with a Faraday cage.
Okay.
Faraday cage being surrounded by a box or sphere of metal, and it will absorb wireless internet, it absorbs radio, most radiation.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I think I get what he's saying. Sorry, I just went off on a tangent. I was just thinking.
Oh no, it's okay. No.
In regards to the sequels and everything overall.
Well, no, that is a neat thing that they could factor into any sequel. They could do that. The only thing that troubles me though about her going back up to Zalem, and doing what she has to do up there and that stuff. It seems I remember. I got to read the manga over again. I haven't. It's been a year at least since I've read the manga. So, but it seems to me when she got up there, one of her first thoughts was, "Where are all the people?" Because I think when she got up there wasn't anybody up there, or at least she didn't find anybody when she initially got there. And I think she did find some kids and stuff like that. But when she first got there wasn't. She didn't see anybody, did she?
Not initially, but that's because they're on the upper floors.
Okay.
Residential's upper floors, Destinova's laboratories on the lower half.
I got it. Okay.
Well, I guess that's where all the the suicide booths and whatnot would be, because obviously, once they're done, they just sort of dump it all into Iron City.
I don't think most people want to live near the suicide booth.
No.
That too.
No. They definitely wouldn't want to live near that thing. So Alita does have human DNA, that's for sure. And at least even in her Imaginos body, a small percentage of her is human. I mean, it is skin and hair is human. So
And going back to earlier to what I was saying about, transferring the technology from one form to another,
yeah,
like the VHS, the DVD, etc.
yeah,
In some way, shape, or form, her DNA has been preserved
yeah.
or
Well, it's
backed
kind
up.
yeah, it's kind of like what they do in IT. When many years ago in IT, they would back data up to these old tape not cartridges. They didn't have those back then, but they had these old round reels of tape. And they'd only have 7 tracks on them. They'd only hold like 7 megabytes. Stuff like that. So it was just,
Right.
Hey,
Magnetic
7
tape.
megabytes.
but they called it technology upgrades because you'd have to copy that data over to another medium, like maybe copy it to, say, a disk, and then from there you might copy it to some optical storage, and then from there you would copy it over to maybe a CD or DVD, and you just keep copying it. And as long as it's digital, you don't lose anything. Now, if you copy analog to analog, you lose something. But, even back on those old 7-track and 9-track tape drives, that was digital. So you didn't lose anything by copying it. Now, what would degrade is that that stuff was magnetic. That tape was magnetic. It's kind of like almost like what you would think of as those old tape cassette drives. It would store. I mean, it was digital, but it would kind of, the magnetism on the media would degrade over time. That's why you put a VHS tape in that's very old and it looks bad. So, but if you copy that early on before it degrades and you copy it to a digital media, then you won't lose it.
Funny story is that I have like the greatest hits album from Journey, and what they did is they basically put it in an oven to help restore it before they digitized it.
Yes. They put it in an oven?
Yes, they put it in an oven.
Damn. Now I haven't heard that one. I do know that with the old cartridge drives back when I was in IT, when you would ship a cartridge from one data center to another, and that cartridge got there, you had to acclimate the cartridge first. It had to sit out on the floor for about 2 hours, in the data center before you could put it in a cartridge reader. I remember that, but I never heard of people putting it in an oven.
I was shocked myself.
Jeez.
I guess they must have timed it well. But hey,
yeah.
from what I know, Journey was like late 70s, early 80s. So
yeah, that's
at least
right.
it's good quality now.
Yeah. They probably did that with a lot of songs back then. I can't imagine just Journey having that done to theirs, so because you see a lot of remastered
on the disc, how they restored it.
Yeah.
On the album.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, bringing it back to Alita here, I guess. Although that was Alita related because she is technology. She is tech, that's for sure. Yeah, I think Alita identifies herself as a human. What do y'all think?
Well, even in her Imaginos body, she still had the conscious thought of, keeping her promises, especially the one that she didn't think she would be able to keep.
Yeah, the most important one of all, she said, but she can't keep it. Yeah.
Not to mention the responsibility that she chose. Like she was given a choice, and she chose to, upload herself or connect with the Jupiter supercomputer as well. And she chose to inherit the Beta Morgana.
Yeah.
And she chose to take on the responsibilities that those decisions would make. And again, it's those choices and the feelings that made her make those choices or that influenced those choices as well.
Yeah. Man,
So,
Robert Rodriguez, he's going to have a field day with this when he finally gets to shoot those sequels. I mean, there is so much there, isn't there?
I would
mean,
love to be like a speck of dirt on just even one of the pages of Cameron's notes.
Yeah. Oh God Almighty. Yeah. I'd love to see those notes. Oh my God. You know, there's no telling how much is on that. But just think of all that they have on the manga too. I mean, from the Mars Chronicles all the way through to the Last Order, they got so much that they can draw on. And you know, Rodriguez, he'll have a field day with that. I mean, he'll go nuts with that. You know, I think. You know, I think. I don't know Rodriguez, obviously, but I just, my impression of him is that, you know, he's going to have fun with that when he gets it, you know.
Well, actually, that's a good question. And if anyone would know, they can chime in. But those pages and pages of notes, while we both know that he did have an idea of what the sequels would be called, and he did have sequels in mind,
Yes.
he was even writing those notes, how much of them were still purely about movie number one? Because don't forget, he said, here, if you can crack the code, you can take it. And that's what he said to Rodriguez.
Well, he did crack the code.
He did. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking, like, you know, he'd have to do it in a way that, you know, even he would have to have the sequels in mind as well. Well, he clearly did. I mean, especially with that ending. But
Yeah. Lee Lemon, yeah, we hate to see you go, bud, but we get it. So we will have fun. Yeah. Yeah, there was one point. David Watson brings up another good point, as Nova was actually kicked out of Zalem himself. And you remember when she was in the, I think, now Chaos, I think you're going to know more about this than me, but I think Alita was actually hired or taken into the Toon program to go get him, wasn't she? To go get Nova, I think, if I remember correctly. Are you there, Chaos? I think he's muted.
you could say that maybe that Nova was kicked out of Catherius.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he was. He was. Yeah, you get the impression in the movie that Nova was some really high important individual, you know, in Zalem. In the, you know, in the manga, I mean, I'm not saying he's unimportant, but he doesn't seem to be as high up on the totem pole as that they portray him in the movie. At least that's the way I see it. So I could be wrong about that, but.
Well, at the same time too, it was compacting quite a few of the books.
Yeah.
And eventually he did go up to Zalem, or a copy, like either his copy or consciousness attached himself to a copy up in Zalem somewhere. Or a brain chip up in Zalem.
Yeah, David Watson, that was kind of sweeter to make her join or have her join the Toon program, but I would say that Alita's sweet no matter what. So anyway, as a character, obviously she's not a real person, but you know. Well, I will say that she's sweet, but boy, she can have her moments, that's for sure. You know, she can be capricious at some point. You know, I mean, she can turn on a dime, you know, just switch from being a really sweet girl and all that to an absolute killer, you know, in just a, you know, drop of a hat. You know, she can do that. So it makes her an interesting character herself, which that makes her human, doesn't it? Because some humans, I wouldn't say she has a temper, but well, she kind of does, I guess. But you know, that's another human trait, I guess. You know, being able to get angry like that. You know, when people piss her off or something like that. You know, and she can turn on a dime. You know, she can become very ruthless even to that point. So
that could also just like be a byproduct of the training too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. That probably is a byproduct of her training that she's carried with her through the years, I guess. So, being able to switch like that, because that's kind of a self-preservation thing, isn't it? In some cases. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think we can definitely say that she, in questioning whether she self-identifies as a human,
Yeah.
she definitely cares for humans.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Well, that much was obvious with Hugo in Figure 4, but yeah. And yeah, David Watson, if you did want to get a hug from Alita, that might be the last thing you did. Because, she is incredibly strong, even in her berserker body, but she can probably, probably control that. Oh, I see Thor Suma's out there in the chat. Thor Suma, you can join us if you want. There is the link right there. So, and like I told Cran, I think Cran's real busy, so she couldn't join us. But Cran, I think, doesn't like superhero stuff. So, I made sure I told her this isn't about superhero stuff here. So anyway, Thor Suma, if you want to join us, hop on. There's the link. I guess that last bullet is a no-brainer, if you'll pardon the expression. Human consciousness. She definitely has that, doesn't she? I don't care if it's uploaded to a chip or not.
Again, now that my little pet theory has evolved, thanks to this very discussion even, like in preserving her DNA and her humanity throughout the bodies, you're pretty much preserving her consciousness throughout it all. I mean, the only times that it separates is when she quite literally makes a copy of herself. And
yeah.
Here's one. Even then, both of them have human consciousnesses. I'll shut up now.
No, it's okay. No, it's okay. No, I was just going to say that one of Creaky's favorites is on now. Hey, Thor Suma, how's it going? Thor Soma, rather.
Hello.
Hi.
Thor.
How's it going?
Pretty good. Just eating some tiramisu, listening to you guys.
Yeah, well, we're sorry about that. That you got to listen to us. But anyway,
No, it's okay.
Yeah, I know. So what do you think about Alita in her Imaginos body? Do you think she's human or not?
So, can you remind me what the Imaginos body was? Because she has so many bodies at this point, I'm getting them mixed up.
Yeah, exactly.
At the end of the series, that's what she had, the shape-shifting body.
Yeah. Oh, wait, I thought that was the Berserk.
No, the Berserker body was in the original manga. This is in the last order.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And Berserker is more a self-repair as opposed to
shape-shifting, yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yes. She is gonna be human no matter what body she's in. She could be a fully robotic brain, no organic parts. She's still a human. I mean, as far as it comes, isn't language just a utility, a tool that we utilize to communicate? If she sounds like a human, acts like a human, thinks like a human, for all needs and purposes, she must be a human.
Yeah. Well, but she does have that even in these three bodies right here, the Imaginos 1.0, 2.0, and 2.1. There would be those that would argue, well, she's more of an android. But see, my response would be no, because if you just look at it organically, her as, as a thing, not as a person or whatever, she still has human DNA. I mean, because did you read the last order, Thor Suma?
I'm trying to read it as I buy it, so I haven't finished it.
All right. Well, I'm not going to mess it up for you though, but
no, it's fine. I'll still enjoy reading it.
Yeah, but there's a point in there to where, I'm not going to get much further than this, but there comes a point where there's going to be two Alitas, so, and one of them will be human and the other will be the Imaginos body. So, it'd be like one be a clone of the human part of the Imaginos body. Yeah. So in other words, she had to have DNA. There had to be human DNA for that to be involved. But you'll read about it. It's kind of cool the way they wrote that, So And I'm not going to say any more because it'll ruin it.
Technically, there's like, what, 13, I think, if you include a clone.
Well, one's called the other Alita. So, you know.
Oh, that's such a shitty name. They should have given her like a whole like other name, like a fucking Olivia or something. You know, like just like a completely different thing.
Or Anita, right? With an N, not Alita. Anita.
I don't know. That kind of
something
sounds like ass in Spanish.
I hadn't thought of that. Yes. My Spanish, by the way, is horrible. So, you know,
It's
I,
okay.
yeah, if I go to a restaurant, I know how to say "Donde es el baño" and "Una cerveza por favor" and stuff like that. I can do that. That way, I know I get my beer. You know. So you were saying something, Angelus?
I was going to say I'm getting ready to get yeeted, but I've got the worst name for a leader,
Oh.
and that's sex.
Come on. You can do better than that.
Cran's. I tell you what, it's a good thing Cran's not on here. Gee,
You mean that wouldn't get one of Cran's FUs?
Yeah, you'd get one of Cran's fuck yous if you did that. So, you know, you definitely would get one of that because, excuse me, Thorosoma, you know Cran, I think, Cranberry Jam.
Yeah.
Zex is her most favorite character, you know. So her and Rotten both love Zex, you know. So, and of course Zex we know is AR6, you know. He's an Alita replicant, you know, but he chose to become a male, so he thought of himself as a male, so he's a male. So anyway, okay, so
really make you think that Kashira was like ahead of his time and diverse and all that, like before it was the thing. Decades before, actually.
Well, he definitely was. I mean, just some of the stuff he's put into the manga, you know, who would think of this stuff? You know, I mean, seriously, you know, who would think about cloning a human from a machine, or not a machine, a kind of a hybrid human, I guess you could say, you know. So who would think of that? You know, I mean, and the technology he dreamed up. For instance, that quantum computer is a good example. Melchizedek. You know, we've had quantum computers for a little while, but back in the late 90s, they were just basically theories, you know. And man, he wrote that thing up perfectly. We did a stream on this, I guess, last year, you know, or no, it wasn't last year, was it, Angelus? It was early this year, I guess. And, you know, about how we have quantum computers today, and Melchizedek is a huge, you know, quantum computer, and he wrote that thing up. His description of it, his drawings of it, and all was perfect, you know. And he did this back in the 1990s. So, wow, you know, I mean, that's quite an imagination. You know, he had a real grasp on where things were going, I think. So, anyway.
Or you could foresee the natural progression of, like, science fiction in general.
Yeah, I guess it's like the Star Trek stuff, you know, you know, they made a big deal out of those little things they'd put in those slots, you know, and said, hey, they're floppy disk, you know. Of course, now we don't use floppy disk anymore. So, you know, so I guess that technology's already gone. So,
yeah,
not gone.
Data.
What's that, Chaos?
Too little data for today's operations.
Oh, heck yeah. That thing only had like 3.5 megabytes on it, man. You couldn't do anything with that today.
Back then, 3.5 megabytes was
huge. It was huge. You know, yeah, exactly. So, well, I guess we know that, I guess we've all come to consensus. I guess the Creek thinks Alita's human, even in the Imaginos body. I think she's human. You know, now she's one of those humans that if you piss her off, she's going to obliterate you, but she's still a human. Angelus, I think you think she's human. Is that right?
Correct. Just, I guess you could say, I think she's human for different reasons, but still human.
Yeah. And Chaos, you think she's human. Is that right?
Of course.
Yeah. Is there anything that you, Angelus, what are you doing, Lord? Well,
Sorry,
that's okay.
Reading my area.
Yeah. Chaos, is there anything you've seen in Martian Memory that would kind of parallel this right here and maybe contribute to your thoughts of her as a human? Because you've obviously, you know, seen that part too, you know, in the game. Is there anything you can enlighten us on that?
Oh, in the game, the main villain, General Zero, is also made from a tumor, just like Alita.
It's not.
It's a question of choose between doing what he does and what's right for the people on Earth and Mars.
Okay.
So so there's something in there, given that he's kind of a peer of hers.
You mean like from the Mars Chronicles? He's been around that long?
He has that kind of origin.
Wow. Okay. Now I don't recall seeing what General Zero, is that his name?
Zero, yes. He's only in the game.
Okay, that's right, because I didn't remember seeing
Erica.
Okay. So the only general I know of in the Mars Chronicle was Erica's commanding officer when she was a necro soldier. I don't know if he was a general or not. He might have been a sergeant. I'm not sure. You know, I don't think they went into that. So, you know, that was that guy that after Alita and Erica fought, and you know, he told Erica, you know, hey, let's go, come on, we're wasting time, or something like that. And then, you know, and then Alita told Erica that, you know, you're a necro soldier. And she said, how do you know that? And she said, because I killed you 200 years ago. So, you know, that's a pretty good indicator right there, I think. So, so General Zero, wow. I'll have to watch you playing that game some more, I guess.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah. And Thor Soma, you definitely think Alita's human, right? I think you're muted there, lady.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Yes, I think she's human. I mean, literally in all of her renditions. And I don't think she's ever going to stop being human unless she literally just at the end of the manga that is still coming out, right?
Yeah.
If at the end of it, she becomes like a freaking computer with no like feedback loop in any way, then yeah, she's not going to be human. But that's the only point that I could ever see her not being one.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I don't want to spoil it too much, but I do want to spoil it a little bit. Don't worry about that as you're reading through the Last Order, you know. Now, there is some folks, me included, that want to see Kashiro even build on the Last Order. And I'm not going to tell you the ending of it, but to me, the end of the Last Order kind of left me hanging a little bit. You know, I mean, it was, you know,
Why are you trying to get me so hyped up?
Well, because I want you to read the manga. So,
I want to do, but that shit's expensive. Like,
yes,
you gotta take a little break for the wallet.
Yeah, I hear you. So anyway, David Watson, what is this? You have a niece called Anita, I guess, and you wrote her a Christmas card and you addressed it as Alita. How'd she take that, David Watson? My uncle doesn't love me. He can't remember my name.
On the contrary, he loves me so much he called me. He renamed me Alita.
Yeah.
How awesome is that? Yeah. I got a cool uncle.
Yeah.
It's like if one of my uncles or aunts like called me Broly or something from Dragon Ball.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know. I thought that Dragon Ball Broly, I thought the Dragon Ball fans didn't like that thing that much. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about
They
that.
didn't like aspects of it, but
Oh, okay.
overall they really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I know Dan and I are watching Dragon Ball Z Kai. You know, we watch that sometimes after streams, but I find that pretty interesting, you know, so.
Oh, and just to say, yeah. Earlier yesterday, I ordered some pizza.
And of course, you got pineapple you're going to put on it.
I did, and the order name was Alita. I got a Hawaiian pizza for Alita.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean.
Do you get that canned pineapple, or what do you do?
Well, back from when I was working for Domino's.
Oh, I see.
They were sent in bulk, so
yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, sometimes in the grocery stores here, it can be difficult to get pineapples, you know, in the U.S., depending on where you are, you know, obviously. So sometimes you have to settle for canned pineapple. But, you know, I guess if you put it on the pizza and then warm it up, it doesn't matter that much.
The trick is not to get pineapple pizza from your, like, you know, your fast food pizza joints.
Oh, yeah.
When they gotta hand make it, and like, for instance, what they do is just so the pineapple doesn't like dry out or anything like that, they keep it in the juices. But what that does is that it's the actual juice itself that sort of ruins a pizza and gives, and that's why, you know, pineapple's got such a bad rep.
Well,
and,
yeah, go ahead.
And yeah, but you know, if you just have the pineapple like fresh out of the jar, it's still got some juice in it, and then you put it on the pizza, and then you put it in the oven, and then have it actually like cooked properly, then that's when it's chef's kiss.
So, you know, I've got Domino's pizza from time to time. Are you telling me not to order pineapple pizza from Domino's? Is that what Is that what I'm hearing?
No, I'm saying that you know, if you're wanting a cheap snack, then you know, pineapple pizza from Domino's is the way to go. But
okay.
Quality.
Yeah, because sometimes, a lot of times I'll just go to the grocery store and get a pizza, but I'll eat a pizza like the day before I do a heavy lift. You know, I'll eat pizza, you know, because it's got a lot of carbs in it, you know. So, and I'll eat that. But I guess if I was to order from Domino's and order pineapple pizza, they would make it okay, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Now, tell me a little more about this clone of Alita that shows to be a male.
Oh, that's Zex, AR6. There were, I guess, 12 of these Alita replicants that were made. You'll discover that as you read.
Well, now there's a number 13.
Oh my God.
Mars Chronicle.
Ah, okay. Well, I haven't read that. I've only gotten about halfway through volume 7. Is it in volume 7 there, Chaos?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't.
She's AR-13.
Okay. Well, then, cool.
Them Chaos don't slack.
Yeah, but what they are is they are replicants of Alita. Technically, I think Alita's AR1, isn't she, Chaos? If I remember correctly, or they call her that, AR1.
I thought she, like, for a long time, I thought she was AR0. Like,
is that? Well, that could be. Because maybe I'm not remembering. But Chaos, is that right? Is the Alita? Does she have an AR number?
AR1.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Interesting. That sounds so progressive. I didn't expect such a progressive message to be in this manga. I'm very happy about it.
Yeah, well, she ends up fighting some of them, you know. I mean, and then there's, you know, in the German, Elfenswerf, you know, 11 and 12. They're actually two of Nova's I don't know what you call them.
Well, he
Assistants.
modified their programming because they don't
Yeah.
have anything really without the bureau, and Chaos
Yeah.
blew it all up with the wave of his hand.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're kind of like his assistants, I guess. AR-11 and AR-11 and 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the one with the bunny titties?
The what now?
The bunnies?
I think so. It's been a while since
Yeah.
I read that. Yeah.
That's what Elf and Dwarf
Oh.
or something like that.
Okay, David Watson has a good thing. AR-11 and 12 are actually Nova's bodyguards, is what they are.
Oh.
You know, but to me, they're kind of not like Alita. They don't seem as ruthless or something. They just seem like sweet little things, although I'm so sure they can turn on you in a heartbeat, you know. But yeah, they got the bunny suits, David Watson says. So yeah, that's them. Elf and Swerf is
Oh, yeah. I'm
you know,
I'm to the
that's-
part where they're like fighting in like a competition with Alita.
yeah. Yeah, Elf and Swerf, that's German for 11 and 12. So
Oh,
yeah.
they do kind of sound like names. Interesting.
Yeah.
Imagine if Alita had a clone that is actually not human. That would be interesting.
Let's see. Let me think about that. I don't think they have one of those. They do have a completely human clone of Alita, but I'm not going to say any more because I'll mess up the manga for you. So, you know, you'll just have to read that one. So, anyway.
Just think Fifth Element.
Go ahead, Angelus.
Just think Fifth Element.
Big what?
A big what?
Fifth Element.
Big.
Oh, Fifth Element.
Oh, Fifth Element.
Yeah, Lil Multipass. She was technically bioprinted.
I don't.
guess.
Is Fifth Element the movie with the lady that has the orange hair and like
Yes.
barely any clothes on?
That's her.
That's
her. It's
Oh, okay.
Bruce Willis movie. My favorite scene in that is where they're having a gunfight with these aliens called the Mangalores, and they're wanting to negotiate. So Bruce Willis walks in there and to negotiate, and he shoots the leader in the head. And he's and this particular species, if the leader's dead, the others don't know what to do. You know, so he shoots this guy, and he says, "Anybody else want to negotiate?" You know, it was kind of a funny scene. I guess you got to see it to actually appreciate it. So anyway, the Creek's not good at describing it. So
I was
It's
about
okay.
to say, shoot a leader in the head.
no. We're not
Good
gonna
luck
do
with
that.
that.
Yeah, we're not going to do that.
We still
all right.
appreciate your enthusiasm.
Nice. Well, thanks.
Well,
Yeah, we are pretty enthusiastic about Alita on this stream. Angelus and I both. Chaos too. We're all enthusiastic about Alita.
so enthusiastic that when your own mother asks how much milk we have left in the fridge, and I go a liter, you know, a liter, 1 liter.
Oh my
Like-
God, I hate you.
Oh Lordy God Almighty!
Ban him, kicked him.
That's like a dad joke.
That was so
Well, I
bad.
didn't realize I made it until
Oh, I
afterwards.
see. A leader. Okay. That's right. You Aussies do say Alita. You do say a leader, don't you? At least Maxie does. So
Have you guys had a stream about how you, in your opinion, you could improve the franchise?
we had a stream here about 4 months ago about how the Alita Army can actually help, you know, the franchise and to get a sequel. We had one of those, and I think they had a Radio Chaos stream on that too. So we have had a couple of those. Now, when you say how to improve the franchise, are you talking? We did have one, I guess, last week where we talked about what we want to see in Alita franchise, but we didn't go into how to improve it. You know, we want to see this, we want that, you know, that kind of stuff.
Right.
But we didn't go into now that was last Friday we did that. So
I mean,
but-
more like in like critiquing the artwork kind of way.
not critiquing it. We've had Cranberry Jam on, and we've shown her artwork, but we just love Cran's artwork, so I don't know if we were critiquing it as much as we were idolizing it, because it is really good. As a matter of fact, Cran's drawn some artwork for me, of Alita doing a deadlift.
That's nice.
Yeah, and she's also
I want to see it.
yeah. Let me see if I can find that somewhere.
While he's looking that up,
Yeah.
I think it's more of a case of not only do we not want to mess up what Rodriguez had achieved,
Yeah.
but I guess that's very fine, not finite, but that very fine balance between staying true to the source material and the word itself, adaptation. There's no one perfect form that everyone would copy, and every single adaptation would be perfect. But I guess Alita's live action adaptation hits the mark so perfectly close that we wouldn't want to sort of rock the boat. Is the best way I can put it.
I like the way they drew the muscles. Pretty good.
Yeah, Cran's great. I got this hanging up in my home gym right now, and that weight that she's lifting right there is
oh my god,
640 kilograms, about 1,348 pounds, something like that.
Just me, or say 6 plates on one side, 5 plates on the other.
Yeah, and each of these plates are 50 kilograms.
Oh yeah, aren't they like 75 pounds or something?
Something like that, yeah. So
yeah, I know.
Yeah, so they're pretty, and the way I told her I wanted her to draw it this way because I want her see the way she's holding that. The bar is bent. The bar is bent. It's a lot of weight, but look at her face. I mean, there's no strain whatsoever. She's just standing there holding it, And the most I've ever deadlifted in competition is 346 pounds, which is about 100. Oh gosh, no, it's more than that. It's 150, maybe. I don't know, something like that, kilograms. I don't know. Angelus, you could probably calculate that faster.
Because,
yeah.
When I was 369 pounds, that was like 167, 168 kilos.
Yeah, okay, so it's probably like 160 kilograms or something like that. And this is 640 kilograms. So she's like lifting 4 times the amount of weight that I can lift, but look at her face. There's no strain whatsoever. she can probably lift like a lot more than that, kind of thing. And now Cran's actually, I think she's just about done with another commission that I gave her where Alita is spotting me, doing bench press. And that's pretty cool.
Is she gonna be like screaming at you like you can do it, Craig?
No, she's not doing that. But let me see if I can find that because I think do I have that though? Let me see if I even have that yet. I think she sent me let's see if I have that.
A work in progress, right?
It is a work in progress, yeah. And I think she might be almost done with it now, and just waiting for. I'm going back to North Carolina at the end of this month, and
from where?
From Denver, Colorado.
Oh,
so it's like a 1,500 mile drive or something like that.
Oh, you're driving there? Ew.
Oh yeah, 2 days. It's not that big a deal. It's major road all the way, or what we call the interstate. Now I can't find it, but it's actually I'm doing the bench press, and Alita is spotting me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I can imagine.
Yeah, so anyway, I can't find it in this artwork right here. It might be down in the work.
It's fine.
Yeah.
So what I meant was like, we should probably have a stream as well. I say we, but I don't really do anything except for show up.
Well, that's fine. No, we'd love having you on. There's no doubt about it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But I think we should have. Well, I think there should be a stream where we get to like look back on the franchise and try to find spots where we think the story could have been better, or ways that we think the story could develop in a more interesting way or something. Like critiquing the story itself.
Okay.
Because we love Alita, of course,
Yeah.
but we're not blind sheep that just have no like inner
We
monologue on what is better than some other things, like
Yeah. Yeah. If we did a stream like that, we'd have to play the movie. And then, of course, what I'd have to do, I wouldn't be able to play the entire movie and stream it because I'd get yeeted immediately.
oh no, we don't have to do the movie. We can do the manga.
Yeah, we could do the manga. Yeah. How you like that, Angelus? I said manga that time.
What do you normally say?
Manga.
Oh, well, I say both.
Yeah. Angelus got me on the stream here about 2 weeks ago where I kept saying manga and he put manga. I said, okay, I'm gonna say manga the rest of the stream.
No, don't let them bully you. You say what you want.
That's okay. They're good hearted. Not too many people can bully me, Thorasuma. To be blunt. So anyway, but yeah, that sounds like it would be an interesting stream. As a matter of fact, you could even do it on the movie.
You could. Oh, I mean, we could do like 3 days worth of content about the movie.
Well, no, what we could do is do something where I could take screenshots of kind of at the beginning of each segment. And we can discuss that because we all know what happens in these segments. I mean, all of us I'm one of the people that have seen it the least number of times of all the people in the Alita Army, and it's like 40 times I've seen it. And there are people that have seen it like 120 times, that kind of stuff. So I think what we could do is that we could have like, the first shot, or maybe 1 or 2 shots out of a segment so we can discuss it, just give us the basis and discuss that and then critique that. We could do something like that. That's a great idea. And we could follow that up with some of the stuff in the manga, like what we think we would like to see in a sequel, but just critique what's in the manga and say, okay, this is what the manga has, but we really would like the movie to do it a little different or expand on this thing in the manga, or something like that. We could do something like that. That's a great idea.
I like your idea even better.
Well, I mean, we could do that. That way I wouldn't get yeeted because I can put pictures up there. They're not going to yeet that. The biggest trouble you get into though is if you play music too. You can't do that. They'll yeet you in a heartbeat if you put copyright music up there. So I always play non-copyright music. Now I have, when I first started doing this stream and I do those intro videos, I would do like a little 1 minute kind of excerpt from the movie, and they didn't yeet me, but they did give it a copyright a mark on it, say, hey, what you're using here is copyright material, but the owner is going to allow you to use this so they can put their advertising on it, So since then I've quit doing that. So okay, but that's a great idea. I think that's what we're going to do in a future stream. And I'll make sure I invite you to there, Thorasoma. Am I pronouncing your handle right?
Yeah, you are. Thank you. Okay. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm just muting myself because my keyboard is quite loud.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, we're not all that tuned on this one. We're pretty wide open here. You saw when Angelus was moving his furniture around, you heard all that noise, and it's really, I bet you wouldn't do that on Radio Chaos, so would you, Angelus? By the way, are you going to be on Radio Chaos tomorrow?
Yes and no. I'm starting to sort of, my head's already started to wind down, so I don't know if I'll be right for the stream.
Okay.
After tomorrow or not.
Okay, well, maybe we Yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and put your chat up there. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's we could talk about that, no doubt about it. So yeah, that's a great idea. So we're going to do that in a future stream. I think I got something set up for next week already, but I may move it back though. I like that idea a lot. We might do that.
No pressure. We
Yeah.
can do it whenever.
Yeah, but I think I like that a lot. So I think that's what we might do. So okay, well I think Angela's about to fall asleep, so maybe we ought to bring the stream to a close. And I guess it's been 2 hours anyway. So
I'll when I go to work later on tonight, because it is very early in the morning. That's why I
yes.
said tonight.
Yep.
I'll check my roster and see which Saturday I will be available for, so we can make it for then.
Okay. Well, we can certainly adjust our time to start around what you got going there, Angelus, because this is kind of your stream too. It's not just mine and Angelus' stream, by the way. It's all the Alita Army stream. Anybody can come on the stream. I mean, I frequently put the link in the chat for people to jump on. A lot of folks don't jump on because they're afraid their English is not that good and all that. And really, I don't really care if your English is good or bad. If you love Alita and you want to talk about Alita, we'll figure it out. You get on here and speak German or Spanish or anything, we will figure it out. Or if you speak Australian, we'll even figure that out. Right, Angelus?
Wow.
Bloody hell.
Bloody hell, mate.
Praises.
Crikey.
Yeah. Yeah, you see I got that new handle, Crikey Creaky. Did you see that?
That's adorable.
I think Dizzy did that, I think.
Crikey, creaky.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let me just move on here. Did we miss anything, you guys? I don't think we did.
The only thing we're missing is
A
Alita.
sequel. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you about what the Creek thinks we're missing. Yeah, we're missing a sequel, but we're missing a trilogy or 4 movies or 5 movies or 6 movies, whatever number it takes, to get Alita's story told. That's what the Creek wants.
Or a series.
And that too. You took the words right out of my mouth there, Thor Soma. I definitely want a series. Now, we talked about this last week, but I guess I would prefer a live action series in the theme of like what The Mandalorian was. But if they want to make it anime, I'm all in. Anything with Alita, I'm going to watch, as for sure, So, yeah, series. And I mean like multiple years, 8 episodes, per year, or maybe 12 episodes per year, and just keep it going. And yeah, just more movies, more merch, more. I want Kishiro to keep writing, Now, whether he does or not, of course, that's going to depend on a lot of factors. But there is so much content right now to do a sequel or a bunch of movies or a series. There is so much content that they can go on. We talked about that last Friday, as everybody knows. So yes, we are missing something, but we're going to get that. And this is our angel right here. This lady here made it happen. This is well, for lack of a better thing, this is Alita right here. She did a great job. Now, we also talked about on the stream last week, if something came up where Rosa couldn't be Alita, I think Rosa would play Alita if she could. But even if she couldn't, I would be willing to give the new person a chance. But I would be disappointed. I would be disappointed if it wasn't Rosa. But because Rosa
We'll be sad, but we'll hope for the best.
Yes, exactly. Because Rosa is, I'll tell you, in terms of being an actress and playing Alita, Rosa's #1 in the Creek's book. That's for sure.
Well, hey, let's not push our luck with all the Hollywood curses that we're going to have to break here. Because, we already, bent over backwards to break the anime adaptation curse.
Yep.
I mean, but don't forget there is legitimate too. there is a legitimate curse of Hollywood movies where after like one or two or even three, like, relatively successful films, they replace one or the main star or both with a different actor or actress, and like it just tanks hard.
Yeah, it does.
Now,
It-
for example, and the most recent example that I can think of that I still enjoyed and is still one of my personal favorites, but it's definitely like the very bottom. Is the Mummy series that stars Brendan Fraser.
Okay.
Like the first two, they had Rachel Weisz as the love interest.
Yeah.
The third one, she got recast, and even though I kind of still enjoyed the third, it's still my third favorite.
Yeah.
Of the series, sort of thing, So yeah, and that's not the only example. There are quite literally a lot of others, like dare I say, even hundreds of examples where they not just movies, there's TV series as well where they've replaced the main actors, and yeah, it's not an easy curse to break.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't want to press that luck.
Well, I tell you, the Creek thinks that, I think that Rosa is a very special actress indeed. I think she is talented way beyond what she's given credit for. I mean, I think she is great. I think Alita, the movie, got snubbed at the 2020 Oscar, the Oscars, the Academy Awards. I think it was snubbed, badly, because I mean, Rosa's portrayal of Alita was exquisite. I mean, it was perfect. I mean, even her facial expressions, I mean, that stuff, is just spot on, as they would say. So,
Yeah.
So anyway,
her talent was undeniable before she even touched Alita. So she got this job that was very intensive for an acting performance, because the whole spotlight and the whole movie is dependent on you being likable and you being relatable. So if she didn't do it, then we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, if she hadn't have done it, who knows? The Alita Army certainly wouldn't be like it is today, maybe. Now, they had some pretty good actresses that tried out for this part, too. Like Zendaya was one of them. She's pretty good, Zendaya is, and she probably would have done a good job on Alita herself. But I think Rosa's number one. I mean, there's no doubt about it, So anyway, if Rose ever watches this, I don't hope I don't embarrass her too much by saying this stuff, but I just think she's great, So anyway, that's that. Creek will get off that. Okay, and just a reminder to everybody that brand new cherry flavors, I think, still on Netflix. I got to go check that out. The Creek hadn't had a chance because Maxie has had me reading this, or not reading, but watching this. I'm gonna get the more current. I want to get the more current thumbnail up because he changed it on me last night, so I didn't get a chance to. Let's see, where is it? There it is, and there it is. So let's share that. So anyway, tomorrow's Radio Chaos stream is going to be about Makoto Misaka. And basically who she is that she goes, I can't pronounce these names, but she goes to a middle school in what's called Academy City, and she is an Esper, or someone with extrasensory perception and extrasensory power and stuff like that, and her power is being able to shoot. Well, she can control metal, and kind of like Magneto does, although a little different. But she can take like a coin and shoot it at someone using magnetism like this and electricity at the speed of light. So she's actually can do this like you would think of a rail gun. That's what she's called. She's called the rail gun in this series. So anyway, what we're going to talk about is we're going to compare her to Alita. You know, now Alita doesn't have that particular power, but she does have plasma, you know, which you can do some manipulation of electricity with that. So in that regard, they're very similar, but we're going to talk about differences and similarities, you know, with Makoto Misaka, you know, and, you know, they have, she goes to a school where they're a special school where they're training these espers, you know, how to use their power and stuff like that, you know, and how to come and get in touch with their power. And the Creek has seen 16 episodes of this because Maxie's pushing me for one thing, but yeah, but it's really enjoyable though. You know, I mean, you know, when I first started watching, I said, oh, I don't know about this one, you know, but as I started watching it, I started enjoying it, you know, because she's this Makoto Misaka is really she's really pretty neat the way she you know, can takes down, you know, villains, you know, and superpowered beings. I haven't gotten that far in where she's fought a whole bunch of them, but she did fight this one monster, you know, that was that could absorb energy and stuff like that, you know, and she was able to defeat that thing, you know. So, and a lot of it, and some of this anime is also slice of life stuff. You know, they have a lot of scenes of this where these girls, there's 4 of them, and it's kind of funny, you know, one Makoto Misaka's roommate absolutely has a crush on her, you know, and she wants to, you know, she's always hugging her or trying to kiss her or something like that. And it's funny, and they both fight, you know, like teenage kids would fight, you know, so that's kind of hilarious, you know. But there's you know, they you know, her and her roommate now Makoto Misaka is like a level 5 Esper, and her roommate's a level 4, but their 2 friends are both level 0s. You know, they're just trying to learn how to use their power and stuff like it. But anyway, I don't want to do any more in that because we're going to talk all about that at Radio Chaos. So
You're an Esper, Harry.
Yeah, you know where that term Esper, I told you know, I told Maxie where that term Esper actually came from originally. It was from an old Star Trek series, you know, that they called, you know, Where No Man's Gone Before, you know, and it was, it had Gary Lockwood and some other old actors in it, like Sally Kellerman and those folks. But anyway, where he gets a set part of his brain gets enhanced when they run this electrical or energy field. It becomes this really powerful Esper that has telekinesis and stuff like that, you know. So, and she's very much like that. This Makoto Misaka. So, but that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow on Radio Chaos. So hopefully everybody can join in on that one. Okay, Angelus or Thor Soma, any last thoughts?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Go for it.
I have an additional Alita fan I'm adding to the group.
Cool.
His name is Mochi.
Cool.
He hates it.
He hates you?
No, he
How
hates
can
it. I'm
he do
showing
that?
him. He's
How
so
can he do that?
embarrassed.
How can he do that, Thor Suma? You're cute. How can he hate you?
That's it.
So you're a cat person, right?
Well, I guess I have a cat.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Well, you're going to say something, Angelus?
I was going to say I don't mind cats, but I'm definitely a dog person. So, you know, McTeague all the way for me.
Yeah, I had a cat years ago. You know, it was a feral that actually I adopted at my house there in Florida. You know, but and that's been many years ago though. He's gone now. But now I have a dog. I got a 120-pound Newfoundland now, and he's a big boy. You know, matter of fact, he's going to want to get his dinner here in a few minutes. So, Maxie always teases me about that after the stream. He says, "Oh, Creek, you got to go feed your dog." Yeah, I do. So, okay, so we got a new Alita Army person or cat. Hopefully, who knows, that cat might become the mascot. You never know. So, any other last thoughts, Thor Soma or Angelus?
None for me. Just
you're about to go to sleep, aren't you, Angelus?
Yeah, like I said, I'm
Yeah.
just sort of staring and focusing on Alita right now, so that way, when I do go to sleep, my mind thinks of Alita.
Okay. Cool. All right. I can dig
I
it.
guess just excited for the episode where we're gonna get to critique the movie and partially the
Yes.
manga. I'm excited
Yes.
about that.
Oh yeah. I'm matter of fact, I think we might do that next Friday, and then for those folks in the future, like those Aussies, that's going to be on Saturday morning. But yeah, that's what we'll have to do. I'll begin working on that right away. So
I'm pretty confident that I do have next weekend off. I just got to confirm it.
okay, well that's cool.
It's
Let me
either
know.
next weekend or the one after.
Yeah, let me know. I know Maxie has a hard time if we do it at 3:00 my time, which is 2 hours early. Maxie has a hard time getting there, but you know. So, but anyway, if you're
Oh,
on,
no,
if
no,
you
like,
are,
as in, like, completely off. And
okay, well that's cool.
if work calls me, I'll tell them I'm drinking and I can't come to work.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Okay, then if there are no other comments, then I guess what we'll do is we'll wrap this up with the call to action, and what that call to action is film those sequels, baby. And on my count of 3, we're going to yell that call to action. So 1, 2, 3.
Film those
those
sequels,
baby.
baby.
Okay, we'll see you next week, and we'll see you on Radio Chaos tomorrow. Bye.
Bye bye.